Herzlich willkommen. Ich freue mich
Very warm
riesig, dass
welcome. I
ihr hier
am
mit
so
dabei
happy
seid.
that you have joined us
Internationalen
at the international
Abschlussevent
closing
hier
event
vom Marsch
right
des
here
Lebens
from March of Life,
Aktionstag. Und
Global Day of
wir haben
Action.
so einen gewaltigen
And
Tag
we've had
heute
such a
gehabt,
tremendous day
mit
today
Märschen in
with
über
marches
70
in more than
Städten.
70 cities
Wir
all over the
sind
world.
begeistert über das,
We
was wir
are
jetzt
so
schon
excited
gesehen
about the
haben
things
an
we've seen
Bildern.
already,
Und ihr könnt
pictures,
gespannt sein
images.
auf das,
You
was
can
ihr
really be
hören
looking
werdet.
forward
Wir
to
haben
what you're going to hear.
Live-Berichte aus
We have
Israel,
live reports from
Live-Berichte aus
Israel and also the
verschiedenen
various different
Nationen,
nations
aus Indien,
from India
genauso auch aus Amerika,
and also from
aus
the United
Afrika.
States, from Africa.
Und wir sind ganz
And we
gespannt,
are so much looking forward to hearing your personal reports. And I'm here together with Heinz Reuss, the International Director of March of Life, and we are a really cool team, because what I'm not saying in English, he
So
will.
it's wonderful to have all of you on this live show here on YouTube, on the March of Life channel. And we have really had an awesome day today. We had events and are still having events. Events are still going on in America, in the Americas, in South America, and the United States, in over 70 cities. And you just heard 23 nations, but I just heard that it's 24 because I heard that in Austria and Vienna, they also did an event. 24 nations, 5 continents. And it's a joint voice for Israel, for Jewish life, on Sukkot, on the Jewish holiday of Sukkot. And it's such a privilege to do that together, even in these times of Corona, in a time when we see anti-Semitism and hatred rise up worldwide on the streets, in social media. We said, as March of Life, we don't want to stay silent. We want to lift our voices for Israel, for reconciliation, for Jewish life. And that's what happened everywhere in the world. And today we'll hear from many, many cities. We have friends here on the Zoom call, and maybe you can already show our Zoom panel here. On the live screen, we have here Josh Weinstein from Israel. We'll talk to him in a minute. We have Ruben Gutknecht from Latin America. He's the Latin American director of March of Life. We have Mike and Lynn McNally from Northern Ireland there, from Belfast, and they'll tell us about what happened in the UK. We have here Edward Zwierz. He's the March of Life director from Poland. We have Wiebke and Corinna, who are from Berlin, and they did an amazing event at the Brandenburg Gate, and we'll hear about that in a minute. And I also see here Kari Teitinen from Finland, from Helsinki. They did a great event there, and we'll hear from it in a minute. And also Igal Evan-Ziv, he's the Israeli director of March of Life, and we'll hear more from him as well. And there'll be more people joining in a minute from different nations. We'll hear some more things. We'll have some nice music here also on the show. So I hope you will enjoy this, and we want to send also a strong sign of friendship to Israel. So Josh, it's good to see you here on Zoom and on YouTube. How are you doing on Sukkot in Israel? How is Sukkot this year in Israel? How did you celebrate it?
Well, it's a beautiful, beautiful day today in Israel. It's great to see you, Heinz. We're all on lockdown because of the coronavirus, but we're with our families. We've built tabernacles in our homes, and today we got to eat out of the tabernacle in our home as well. And so it's an exciting time. We expect God to do big things, and it's just great to see the outpouring of support from around the world for Israel during these trying times.
Wonderful. So, Josh, you are the director of the Knesset Christian Allies Caucus and the president of the Israel Allies Foundation, and you do such a wonderful work of connecting Christians and people worldwide who love Israel with Israel and the Knesset, and that's a wonderful work you do. So tell us, why is it important for Israel that people worldwide show their friendship and solidarity publicly? Why is it significant specifically as a time like we have right now?
Well, we're global partners with the March of Life, and as you know, Yoav Spitner was just released as one of the 50 top allies of Israel in honor of Sukkot in the Christian world. We see this as an important strategic relationship. Right now, we're seeing the rise of anti-Semitism around the world, but we're also seeing the rise of faith-based diplomacy, and Jews and Christians are coming together around the world in an unprecedented burst of activity. We're seeing a lot of Jews and Christians working together because they see that the God of Israel is fulfilling his prophecies in Israel, that the Bible is a true source of prophecy, that we're seeing this fulfillment of prophecy, that God is real, that the Bible is real, and it's bringing us together. But at the same time, we have to realize that people who don't believe in the God of Israel, do not believe in the Bible, they're also coming together, and they're coming together to fight Israel, which is the tip of the sword. So people of good faith, both Jews and Christians, need to unite. And events like the ones that we saw today from March of Life in 24 countries around the world just really warms our heart, because it's not just commemorating the atrocities of the Holocaust, but it's also standing with the state of Israel and its capital, Jerusalem.
Thank you, Josh, and it's also a privilege to be connected together. So tell us a little bit, like times of lockdown in Israel. I mean, you have like a lockdown, like people are secluded in some way. How is life like this, and what are the prospects? When do you think we'll be able to come back to Israel again, as many of us like to?
Well, yes, it's a very interesting Feast of Tabernacles. Usually we'd be welcoming tens of thousands of Christians, as was for prophecy, that the nations will come up to Jerusalem for the Feast of Tabernacles. They'll pay homage to the one true God. It's sad that we're not seeing the thousands of Christians this year, but because of modern technology, we're able to connect in this way. I think the lockdown is temporary. We should be opening up soon. It really depends on the numbers. But I think what's uniting us is our love for God and our faith that God will deliver us from this coronavirus and bring us to a better time as we had before. I think that a lot of people need to realize how good we had it before, and that this is a reminder that God is in control, and that as much as we think we can affect things, without God, nothing can happen. And I think it's a great reminder to people. And I think once people understand God's message, we'll see Israel opening up and our friends coming back very soon.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Josh. And it's great to be together, and we're really looking forward to seeing you very soon again in Jerusalem. And so thank you for being with us on the Zoom call. Jobst?
Josh, es ist schön, dich zu sehen.
Josh, it's so good to see you and to hear your voice. And thank you so much for the honor to be mentioned on the list of the 50 supporters and allies of Israel. Josh, a question to you. I believe many would be interested who are watching from the different nations, because I keep hearing this over and over again. Does Israel actually need us to raise our voices in the nations? Do they need us to go to the streets? Is it really so important? Could you maybe say 2 or 3 things about this for the viewers?
Well, I think it's essential, Jobs, and it's great to see you. Mazel tov again on the honor of being in the top 50 Christian allies around the world. Well deserved. You're doing so much for the state of Israel, and we really salute you for it. Yeah, of course, it's very important. It's important for 3 main reasons. Number one, it's important for Israel. It's important for Israel because in the past we were alone. We're seeing this terrible anti-Semitism around the world. People don't understand it, but it's like a virus, like the coronavirus. It just pops up and then it spreads like wildfire. And always we were left to battle this on our own. And now we see we have real allies. It's not just, in words, but you actually are taking to the streets and standing with Israel. And that means a lot to us. Secondly, I think it's important because we're in a time where Christians are under attack. It's not just the Jewish people. It's anyone who believes in the Bible. It's not just synagogues that are being burned down. It's churches. It's not just Jews who are being attacked. It's Christians. And so I think that Jews and Christians need to unite and defend our shared way of life, these Judeo-Christian values we hold so dear. So it's also very important in that way as well. And then thirdly, I think it's very important because it's going to come to a time where more and more Jews are moving to Israel, and there won't be Jewish populations around the world. In some of the countries already, there are almost no Jews left. And so who's going to stand up and speak for the Jewish people? Who's going to tell our story? Who's going to say this is wrong? And if you don't have people of good faith, people of moral character to stand up and march and say, we will not let this happen to Jewish people, it's just going to happen all over the world. So I think that in our times when almost half the Jewish population in the world lives in Israel and more is coming, it's so important that our friends fill the gap and stand with Israel. And I think that by standing with Israel, they'll reap the blessings of God as well.
Ja, vielen Dank, Josh.
Well, thank you so much, Josh. Today we took to the streets in Tübingen and we built the first ever sukkah publicly on the market square. And then we formed a Star of David on the market square. And right in the middle we did a dance. And there was a man from Iran standing right in the center, taking up the flag of Israel and danced right in the center of the Star of David. That was so impressive. And it's so encouraging to hear what you're saying. You can see the images here, see them dance, and the friend from Iran with the flag of Israel. And so we see the Star of David right here on the market square, the place that used to see Nazi demonstrations. We were about probably 300 people.
I think that altogether we were 300 people altogether.
So thank you so much for your encouragement, and mainly thank you to everybody who's watching, who's joined us and who's with us.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Josh. So like as Job just said, we had this wonderful start event in Tübingen, and maybe you can see the pictures again. Marching through Tübingen, we started at the former synagogue that was destroyed in 1938 during the Reichskristallnacht, and then we walked through there and we did strong statements in support of Jewish life, and then had the Star of David on the market square, and there's so many people there also standing by, and I believe that's a strong symbol also like for our region, that we do want Jewish life and that we do stand with Israel here. And we'll see more of these pictures from different cities in a minute, and we'll hear more from the different sites. Now we're going to hear a song, Shekianu, and then we'll continue here with more reports from the different nations. Thank you so much.
Shake
Ja, vielen Dank.
Well, thank you so much here to Beersheba. And I want to send best regards to everyone in the Zoom room. I've just seen Raisa from Burundi, but unfortunately she vanished again. But best regards to everyone also who's joining us online. This is the closing event of the Global March of Life Day of Action. And we have had such a tremendous day. More than 70 cities. They did projects, actions, activities, and let me share a little bit about this. It's amazing. Within 4 weeks, we were able to mobilize so many people because 4 weeks ago, we saw the demonstrations on the streets of Germany, thousands, tens of thousands on the streets. At the same time, the churches are still in an inward lockdown and have the feeling they can't do anything. And I saw and realized we can do something. We have to take to the streets because at this time of pandemic, anti-Semitism is exploding again, and not just online, but we also see it out on the streets. We see people walking around with yellow stars of David comparing COVID-19 to the Holocaust all of a sudden. So that's downplaying the importance of the Holocaust and all those conspiracy theories that are so anti-Semitic and at core. And they're talking about Jewish world conspiracy and so on. What we really need to realize, we must not leave the streets to hatred, and there's a vacuum which we need to fill. And therefore, we just called out, and we are so grateful for all the response we got for this day, and especially now at the festival of Sukkot. And we've got a declaration here, which I drew up, and that's a declaration that we sent out all over the world, and this declaration has been read in all those cities, and I will just take a few phrases from this declaration, not everything, but I think a few key phrases, so we have our joint context here, and Tina will translate that as well. So, of course, we will be hearing the words of support and greeting as well, but this is the declaration. We're experiencing one of the worst global disasters since World War II. COVID-19 pandemic has so far claimed almost 1 million lives worldwide, and every death brings grief and suffering, both for family members and friends. Hundreds of thousands of people are out to protest on the streets worldwide. Many of them oppose the COVID-19 restrictions in their countries, represent radically right-wing or left-wing positions. Others believe in conspiracy theories, and all too often the protests are linked to outbreaks of hatred and violence. Times of crisis have always brought an onslaught of anti-Semitism and hatred of Jews, and this pandemic also provides fertile ground for anti-Semitic conspiracy myths. As a result of the lockdowns imposed in numerous countries, anti-Semitic incidents have temporarily shifted to the internet, where they have reached unprecedented proportions. With the protests against the state and municipal pandemic measures, anti-Semitism and hatred of Jews have returned to the streets all the more massively. Anti-Semitism and hatred of Jews do not know lockdowns. In the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, Israel celebrates the Jewish Feast of Tabernacles, Sukkot, behind closed doors. As members of the Global March of Life movement, we want to use this feast as an occasion to bless Jewish life in our cities and countries and to visibly express our friendship with Israel. So this is something that was proclaimed all over the world. With this worldwide Day of Action, we declare that even at this time of crisis, we'll not remain silent in the face of anti-Semitism, hatred of Jews, and any form of discrediting Israel. We raise our voice against any form of downplaying, equating, and comparing the Holocaust with the consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic. We raise our voice against any kind of conspiracy theories that have openly or covertly become socially acceptable again as Jewish world conspiracy. We raise our voices against every form of hatred of Jews and anti-Semitism, which in hidden or open form on the internet or at protests denigrates, degrades, and discredits Jewish life. We confess that God's covenant with His people Israel and His promise of Genesis 12:3 are current and valid for our cities and nations. And therefore we declare that every nation is blessed through Israel. We recognize the people of Israel and stand in friendship by their side. And we declare that the Jewish people are carriers of God's promise. So these are some of the statements here and some of the proclamations. And I am so grateful that this was is read in 70 different cities. And that's it for now here. And I believe it's worth it taking a closer look at some of the greetings. We've got them live here by Jeremy Issacharoff, the Israeli ambassador to Germany. And there's also a greeting by Orit Farkas-Cohen, Minister for Strategic Affairs in Israel, and we will listen to them briefly.
Hi, my name is Orit Farkas, and I'm Israel's Minister of Strategic Affairs. I had the privilege to participate in the March of Life in Poland, which took place last year, and saw firsthand the importance of the local communities coming out to publicly reject anti-Semitism and to demonstrate their support for Israel. During the COVID-19 crisis, we have witnessed a dramatic increase in racism and anti-Semitism and hate speech worldwide. And so this global event is as important as ever. I commend the March of Life organization for bringing peace back to the streets and for publicly standing for reconciliation instead of hate. At my instruction, my ministry is dedicated all its sources to fight the delegitimization of the State of Israel. In specific, we are working against the hate speech online and on social platforms, and we're doing a lot of dialogue with all the networks with regards to that problem. Together we will prevail. Wishing you much success in all your efforts. Shalom from Jerusalem.
Dear friends, it's a pleasure to be with you today and to greet you, and especially that you have taken it upon yourselves to endorse the very important statement that reconciliation must always come instead of and before any sort of hatred. I think this is such an important message at this time as we see anti-Semitism increasing. It's increasing in Germany, unfortunately. It's also increasing in Europe and even elsewhere, even in the United States. And this is something that we must continue to fight against. When there is anti-Semitism or xenophobia or racism, it shows there is no tolerance for the other. That goes to the very core of a democratic society. And in order to contain the threat of anti-Semitism, which only does not threaten Jews or Israelis, it also threatens the very democratic nature of German society. And for that reason, I wholly endorse what you are doing, and I thank you for your support. There can be nothing more important today than stopping this hatred, increasing dialogue between peoples, and bringing about greater conciliation. Thank you, and have a great day.
So we had these wonderful words of greetings here from friends in Israel. Thank you so much. We have many more words of greetings that you can watch on our YouTube channel. Friends like Zsolt Balla, who is the rabbi in Leipzig and also the whole state of Saxony. We also have from Rabbi Strauss of Bet Yeshurun synagogue in Houston and Texas, and many others, representatives of Jewish life who've stated their support. And I encourage you to watch this on our YouTube channel, marchoflife.org. By the way, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you will always be notified when we upload new material here. And now we'll take the time again to talk to our dear friends here on our Zoom panel, friends from different nations. Maybe you can show the panel here again. So there's Mike and Lynn McNally from Bangor, UK. There's Edward Swierz here from Poland. There's Mivkin Corinna from Berlin. There's Kari Teitinen from Finland. There's Raisa Mpundo from Bujumbura in Burundi. She's just joined. We'll talk to you later. Raisa, good to see you there. I've just seen that Rosalie has switched in, maybe already switched out. She's live from her event. We'll talk to her also in a minute. But I want to start with Edward in Kielce in Poland. Edward is the Polish director of Marzicja, March of Life in Poland. So, Edward, what happened in Kielce? I heard that you already did your event yesterday, but what happened in Kielce during your event?
Na rynku w Kielcach kilkaset metrów od miejsca, gdzie był pogrom w 1946 roku.
At the Kielce market, just a few hundred meters away from the place where the pogrom of Kielce have taken place.
To jest centralne miejsce miasta, które jest bardzo ważne.
The marketplace is sort of a central part of the city. It's a very center. It's very important.
Zrobiliśmy bardzo prostą rzecz.
We've done a very simple thing.
Po prostu utworzyliśmy z 8-metrowych długości podwójnych flag w kolorach Izraela gwiazdę Dawida.
We've taken six double-colored blue and white ribbons, and we have created a star of David out of them.
Ale też wspominaliśmy ludzi, którzy mieszkali w Kielcach, którzy ocalali z Holokaustu.
We have also publicly been commemorizing people who used to live in Kielce, who have survived or died in the Holocaust.
Ze względu na to, że przed wojną tutaj była największa diaspora, 3,5 miliony Żydów w Polsce mieszkało, mamy bardzo emocjonalne podłączenie między naszymi narodami.
Because there was the biggest diaspora of the Jewish people before the war in Poland. And because of the effect that it had on our country, we have a very close emotional connection to the Jewish people.
Więc czuliśmy, że to bardzo ważne, żeby wyrazić taką solidarność z narodem żydowskim ze względu na to, że nie możemy pojechać do Jerozolimy na Sukkot.
Thus we felt it to be a very important thing to express our solidarity with Jewish people. Even though we could not go to Sukkot, that was the second best thing.
Ja dziękuję wam za tą inicjatywę, która wyszła z Tibingi.
I want to thank you for this initiative, for starting this.
Dlatego, że ona powoduje, że jesteśmy cały czas w czujności, żeby pamiętać o Izraelu, żeby go wspierać i żeby mówić, że jest możliwe zmiana historii ze śmierci na życie.
Because it makes it so that we are remaining vigilant, we remaining thinking about Israel, and we remain in a mindset where we believe that it's possible to turn death into life.
Wonderful to hear about that and also to see the pictures of the Star of David on the market square in Kielce. And just as a little information, so in 1947 there was a pogrom in Kielce that led to a huge, a lot of Jewish people, Holocaust survivors leaving Poland after the war. And so it's so wonderful what you're doing there, a real work of reconciliation. And tell me, Edward, there have also been other events in Poland. What happened in other cities in Poland? Where did events happen?
Wydarzenie w Gdyni.
We've had two events, one in Wrocław and one in Gdynia.
I one miały bardzo podobny przebieg.
And they both have happened in a similar way to ours.
Po prostu ludzie wyszli na ulicę, było trochę muzyki hebrajskiej.
People came out on the streets with the Hebrew music.
I centralnym punktem było formowanie gwiazdy Dawida i takie słowo miłości i solidarności z Izraelem.
And the central event of their activity was forming the Star of David and also sending out the word of love and support to Israel and the Jewish people.
W Polsce jest taka atmosfera teraz, że jak tylko wznowią loty, to kilkaset ludzi od razu w pierwszy dzień poleci do Izraela. Tak tęsknią.
The current attitude among those who miss Israel in Poland is such that at the moment that the lockdown is lifted, there's going to be a lot of planes leaving Poland for Israel.
Także Igal, strzeż się.
So Igal, be ready for us.
Wonderful. So good to see you, Edward. Thank you so much for being here with us on this call, and thank you also for lifting your voice for Jewish life and for Israel in Kielce. So I want to go on to Berlin, and I see Wiebke and Corinna there, and these wonderful ladies, they have organized a beautiful event today at the Brandenburg Gate. And tell me a little, who was there? What happened at the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin?
Yes, hello. Yeah, we built a sukkah in front of the Brandenburg Gate, and we had an Israeli band there, a folk band. They sang some songs about the Holocaust, and there was a speaker. It is a professional rapper, Ben Salomo, and he told about his experiences with anti-Semitism, and we wanted to share this to show the people that anti-Semitism is still real. And the message was we can't be silent anymore. We have to raise our voice, and we have to go through our family history in order to get rid of anti-Semitism. And We also shared some family stories, and I think it was very important to do this in front of the Brandenburg Gate, just at the place where Hitler was and at the place where all those conspiracy theories have been spread during the demonstrations. And in the end, we were singing the Hatikva.
Wonderful. So good to hear about it. Maybe you can show the big picture again from the Brandenburg Gate, guys, so people can see that. I think that's beautiful. Right at the place where there have been demonstrations with conspiracy theories, anti-Semitism has been spread right there. You set this powerful sign of solidarity with Israel and speaking out against anti-Semitism. Thank you so much, Wiebke and Corinna. And I want to go on to Helsinki now. Kari Teitinen, he's the director of March of Life in Finland. So, Kari, good to see you, and tell us a little bit what happened in Helsinki. What did you do?
Good to hear from you. We had around 200 people. We were gathered in the central place of Helsinki. It's called Narinkkatori. It's a market square. And over 100 years ago, it was the only place in Helsinki where Jewish people could trade and only sell old clothes, second-hand clothes. And they didn't have civil rights as we had Finnish people. And we gathered together. We had the speeches there, Israel ambassador Agit Ben Yaakov, and from the Jewish congregation, where members speaking there, as well as some members of the parliament. And we have a very warm atmosphere there. And also that we had a theme that never again, and we proclaimed that we want to stand with Israel, and we condemn all kinds of anti-Semitism, anti-Zionism, and we were very happy that we could arrange this. And the weather was quite rainy and windy, but we had good time there.
Wonderful. So, Kari, tell me, why is it important, or is it important today in Finland to speak out against anti-Semitism?
It's very important here, especially in Finland, because there was a Nordic, this northern anti-resistant movement, and which actually the law court condemned it. But anyway, it's very important here, and also the Jewish community congregation also they feel much better and more safe that we as Christians we can stand with them and support them, and also at the parliament there are members who condemn all kinds of this anti-Semitism.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful, Kari.
Kari, es ist schön, dich zu sehen.
Kari, it's so good to see you.
Wir waren vor einigen Wochen zusammen.
A few weeks ago we were together.
Wir hatten das Vorrecht,
and we had the privilege to see how you were starting a new March of Life association. So you experienced powerful support by the Jewish community. Could you say 2 or 3 sentences about that?
Yes, especially the time you were in Helsinki, one of the members of the Jewish congregation, his name is Ronnie Smolar, and his wife, Ete Salutsky. They were very touched about the thing that your young people, they shared their stories about their background and Nazi members, and it was very touching for them, their heart. So now Ronnie Smolar is one of our team also in this March of Life Finland.
So
that's wonderful to hear. Please give our very best regards to all the team in Finland. There's a great and large March of Life team there in Kari. We are so grateful to be connected to you.
That's absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kari. And I see that Rosalie is there on the Zoom, and Rosalie is actually live at her event. Rosalie Jerome is the director of March of Remembrance in Texas. And she is live in Houston in the Holocaust Remembrance Park that she and her team started. And they are just in the middle of the event. It's a 3-hour event they have there. They've set up a sukkah. So, Rosalie, can you hear me?
Hi. Can you see us?
Yes, I can see you. So we can see you. So we see dancing in the background. That's wonderful. So it's live at the event. So Rosalie, what's happening in Houston?
too, but I'm going to turn my phone around. Okay, we just had Mayor Pro Temp of Houston give a nice declaration, proclamation. We just started. So what is it that you asked?
So that's live directly from Houston. You see that, so that's real live footage coming from there. Rosalie, I just ask you what happened what happens in Houston. So I hear that you have the vice mayor who did a wonderful proclamation for Israel, for Jewish life. So what else are you doing today on Sukkot?
We are painting rocks. Can I have that bag, please? Anyway, can you get me a painted rock? A painted rock. And so we are painting rocks to remember the 1.5 million children that were murdered. We have the kids doing that. And when we do our marches, we march with those rocks. And then we're going to place them in our garden. We've got music till 4 o'clock, and I don't know, all kinds of different proclamations and theater, puppet shows, just to celebrate the joy of God, Sukkot, the things that these 1.5 million children couldn't do. They couldn't, these children could not. We're doing this today for Yitzhak, 10 years old, from Poland, who was murdered just because of hatred. So we're celebrating Israel and Jewish life for these 1.5 million children who couldn't celebrate. They had to hide being Jewish. And so we have children painting these rocks. This is one right off the table. And they have to write the names of the children and their age and where they were murdered.
Oh, that's absolutely wonderful. This where you're painting these rocks to remember the 1.5 million children that were murdered during the Shoah, and you're doing this wonderful thing when you see the pictures live from Houston. We see the dancing, we see the joy, and Sukkot is a real festival of joy. That's wonderful. We can see that there.
These here. Upstander Stone Project, we're bringing it all over, and we know it's going to mobilize marches all over the country, not just in Texas.
Okay, wonderful, Rosalie.
You know that.
So greetings. Yeah. So greetings to everyone over there in Houston. Give them all our love.
And Rosalie, I'm sending my very best regards also. Hi, good to see you. Much love to everyone. We are so happy to see you. And blessing to you, and have a great time in Houston.
Pastor Yobes, we love you for what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
So thank you so much. And as we saw, Sukkot is a festival of joy, and we'll also have some joy here on the stage with Siman Tov and the Beersheva band's going to play.
Mazal Tov. Thank you so much to Beersheba. And so this is really cool to hear all of you and to be together like this. At the same time, we have to say, the things we're doing is not a game. I just heard that today there was an attack in front of the synagogue in Hamburg. Someone in military dress and took a spade and attacked a Jewish student and actually beat him severely. And people, that is the reason why we are together here like this. So it's not just to have a nice proclamation and have a Star of David, but we have to raise our voices. And thank you so much to Mike and Lynn. I can see you there. You did raise your voice in Belfast, and there are easier places to do it. And you gathered people, you've had marches of life there before, and maybe you can share briefly, what did you do today? Mike and Lynn from Bangor.
Hi, thanks, Jobst. Yes, we had an event in Belfast today, just similar to all the events that are running worldwide. It was particularly difficult here this year because our COVID regulations are very, very tight. We have a lot of shutdown and even maybe a possible another lockdown coming. But we took as many people as we could, as in the maximum allowed. We took to the streets of Belfast. We stopped outside the City Hall, and we had placards, as you can see at the background here, and we also had a Star of David, and we sang Hatikva, and it was just such a special time, and also just to show our support and solidarity. But we also had a second-generation Holocaust survivor who publicly said how important it is that we have these kind of events and that we come together as Christians and Jews to stand with our Jewish communities, and he just felt like he was like such a support. And also he shared some of his testimony about his grandparents who also perished in the Shoah. But we also had an event in Norwich, which Lynn maybe can share a little bit about.
Yes, we are really so pleased to have. We've had our first ever today March of Life event in England, and that happened in Norwich. And Norwich is a really key place because Norwich, sadly, was one of the first places that had blood libels in the whole of the United Kingdom. And today they gathered with only 6 people, and that was the maximum they could do. And they gathered today, and we are so glad that they were able to do that and make a statement against anti-Semitism.
Wow, that is so powerful. I really have to say this. To everyone who did that, despite COVID-19, the willingness to still make that statement, I think that is so amazing and moving. And thank you so much to the two of you that you did that in Belfast. And now let's see whether we can actually take a look to Burundi, to Raisa. I don't know whether she's still in the call. Maybe the technicians can help us.
Let's see if she's there. The internet is a little bit unstable, but Raisa, can you hear us? Okay, not at the moment. Also not on audio because they tried only an audio link. Okay, no problem. But then we'll go to Burundi later. But then now we'll go to Israel, and we have here. Okay, Raisa, are you there? No, okay. I just heard some sounds there. Okay, now we go to Israel, and I see Igal Evan Ziv there, and I see Naamat Zelna, and it's wonderful to see you here. Of course, it's important for us that the message that we are sending is also received in Israel, because it's something we really want to encourage people with. We really want to encourage Israel, specifically in a situation like now, where you're very hard hit with the COVID-19 pandemic, and we want to send our love and our signs of support to you. So Naama, tell us, why is this important? Is this message heard in Israel?
Okay, so now I have my sound. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly. Wonderful.
Okay, so I prepared some points for you. So the situation in Israel with the COVID-19 now is just like a news update. Is that we have about 21 people that passed since midnight. We are approximately at 900 very sick people. It's the hard level. They had about 12,000 checkups to see if people were infected. 1 out of 10 is about the statistic of being positive. And we have a few celebrities that are that caught corona. One of them is very old and very famous rabbi named Kanievsky. He was known in Israel as someone that did not help the seculars to prevent the infection, basically. He told the Orthodox Jewish community that they can keep going to the synagogue and keep praying. And that's one of the reasons that it's very, very infected. We see the numbers going up. We had a very massive shutdown. Most of the people cannot leave the houses. There are no schools at the moment. They're saying maybe in Hanukkah they would have the schools to come back. Basically, there is not. They don't allow you as a citizens to move on the roads and outside of your house unless you go shopping for a grocery or for medical issues. Only 40% of the business section in Israel is working mainly from home. They don't allow you to go to work. And only the necessary must-have, what we called for emergency businesses, they still work. So a lot of people are feeling the economical crisis very, very hard. And the last few days we had a bit of a drama politically. It's been this way for many months, actually. But the last few days, over the weekend, the Minister of Tourism, he quit the government. He said that he cannot stand with this government. And so actually a friend of the organization of March of Life, Orit Farkash, that you know her as the Minister of Strategic Issues, in Israel. So now she's going to be, as well as that, the Minister of Tourism. And they were really afraid that the government is going to fall and we are going to elections again. It's always like a knife on the throat for the Israeli public. What else? We had a lot of, I would say, demonstrations and a bit of riots. And you can see it in both of the sections, the seculars and the Orthodox. They started demonstrating the seculars in Balfour next to the Prime Minister's house. They prevented it, and now they're not allowing to people to go and be far from their house more than 1 kilometer. So now you can't go and demonstrate. So what happened over the weekend is that most of the people decided that they are going to demonstrate next to their houses. They're estimating hundreds of thousands of Israelis that went outside with flags demonstrating against the Prime Minister. This was over the weekend. And today on Sunday, we actually saw the Orthodox people. They are fighting with the police as well. They are not happy that they are trying to close the synagogues and prevent them from gathering together. So we have a very difficult feeling as a public. But the message that we actually tried to pass today, I think it was in a good time, because everybody here, they know about anti-Semitism rising all over the world with COVID-19. And it makes us worry about it, but emotionally, we're not free to deal with it. So I can tell you that when I was doing PR today, and I still will do tomorrow, We had a lot of conversations with reporters today, and all of them are saying it's amazing to see how we still fight between us, and we don't know where the country is going and what's going to be, and to get this good message of no hate from outside and the support that we get from you to our country is very, very emotional for us. So that's, yeah.
Naama, thank you so much for all this inside report from Israel. It's so good to hear from you. You're working in PR. It's great to see you. We are connected. And maybe could you share a little bit more about, with everything that's going on in Israel right now, with all the developments and COVID-19 and the inner struggle and tensions that are there, but the message that in the nations we are standing with Israel, is that message, do you have the feeling that this message is received, that you can actually make people hear it and listen?
Yes, I think that most of the reporters and the media that I've spoken today, they were very emotional about it. They said that it's amazing to see how wide the support was. And it's amazing, although we have COVID-19 and it's very difficult in many countries, just to go and try to demonstrate, as we know here in Israel. So it was amazing for them that you as an organization managed to do that. It's not obvious for us. It's something that we don't see as something that it's easy for you to do, or it's easy for you to say and to stand out and convey this message to people that not necessarily want to hear it. And it's just wonderful, really, I have to say. I think that Israeli people now, they feel very much alone in their own country. So just to get such a message from outside of your country, it's even bigger. And we are trying to figure out how to do things better, how the government should be better, how everything should be better. So it's like some light in the picture.
Thank you,
just to hear the message and
yes, wonderful. Thank you so much, and thank you so much also for your support. And it's great to hear this live from Israel and hear these insights. And it's important for us to understand this. So thank you so much. Now let's see. Is Raisa now there from Burundi? Let's see if she's on the line. Is she there? No, okay, not yet. Okay, then we'll go on. So we'll talk to you guys in Zoom in a second again. But now we want to see a brief video, because March of Life has been going on for 13 years now. We started in 2007, and it has grown into an international movement. And usually in normal years, we do big marches with lots of people very closely together. This year, of course, because of Corona, people are a little bit more distanced. But we want to see a video that we did like 1.5 years ago that gives a little bit of an overview of the International March of Life movement and of what the March of Life stands for.
The number of anti-Semitic acts of violence has increased dramatically. Therefore, the March of Life wants to make a statement of solidarity with Israel and against modern anti-Semitism with commemoration marches here in Germany, in Europe and all over the world.
Und gegen den modernen Antisemitismus setzen.
Take to the streets with marches and demonstrations. Just I will never be silent in the face of anti-Semitism. I will never be silent.
As a Hungarian, I am asking forgiveness for our silence. I am so sorry that something like this could happen.
also ask your forgiveness for what happened to you and your family 50 years ago in March 1968.
We have rejected them at the border. As a representative of the Swiss government and the Swiss policy, I admit our nation's guilt.
I stand here as the granddaughter of a man who helped build this camp.
Der mitgeholfen hat, dieses Lager aufzubauen. Hat mitgeholfen, diese Gaskammern aufzubauen.
He helped to set up the gas chambers.
Ich stehe heute hier und möchte Sie von Herzen vergeben.
And I'm standing here today, and with all my heart, I would like to ask your forgiveness.
We ask forgiveness for sheltering the Nazis who had fled to Argentina, for protecting them rather than handing them over.
Nunca más. No more anti-Semitism.
Marches of life are taking place all over the world. In every city, in every country, every year on Yom HaShoah. An active voice against anti-Semitism. And a voice of friendship with Israel. Raise your voice and be a light. United to be a light.
Dear friends from all over the world, this really is a march of the nations. It is a real pleasure to welcome you all to the Holy Land, to Israel, and to Jerusalem.
Dear friends, I want to congratulate all the participants of the March of the Nations here in Jerusalem on this very special occasion when we, the State of Israel, celebrate 70 years of our existence.
Organize a March of Life in your city on Yom HaShoah. Register now on www.marchoflife.org.
So seeing these pictures from Jerusalem from 2 years ago, it makes you want to go back to Israel as soon as possible. So, but the March of Life work, it's been going on for 13 years now, and it's something we want to continue, and it's only possible by people who are donating and helping us to do that financially. And we have so many people who have been doing this. Everything we do is not done by public funds, but it's only done by private people who give to the March of Life. So I want to encourage you today, if you want to support what we're doing, you want to support the March of Life, the international movement, I encourage you to donate to us. And then we have this details here. We have the possibility to give via bank transfer. We also have online possibilities. You can use that link, marchoflife.org/support, or you can use that QR code and you will be brought directly to the website. And it's a huge support for us. It's a huge encouragement for us. We have been seeing so many people also in these times of Corona who have been generously supporting us. And then we want to encourage you to do so as well. This will help us to keep on raising our voice and extending the work we're doing. So thank you so much for the support. And you can see the details here. So,
Ja, das hast du wirklich gut gemacht.
Well, you did that so well, Heinz. Thank you so much. I can only encourage you now to truly sow into this ministry. And with this, you will actually make it possible for us to mobilize others to raise their voices as well. And we've seen in the news how important this is at this time. So your help, your financial support will encourage us and will be able to help us mobilize others and enables us to carry on the good work. So thank you so much for all your support. And we are so much looking forward to what is yet to come, because our job is not finished yet.
Yes, and we want to go directly back to the Zoom call now because I see Ruth Carra there. She is March of Life organizer in Asunción in Paraguay. Now she's gone when I call her. That always happens when you try to call her. Okay, then we'll first of all have a wonderful song, Im Eshkachech Yerushalayim. I just said that we long to come back to Jerusalem as soon as possible. So first of all, we hear this wonderful song, and it's going to be sung by Gudula Kashf and Beersheva, and then we'll be back to the Zoom panel and try to talk to Paraguay.
Simchati
So welcome back here at our live broadcast and closing YouTube event of Reconciliation, Not Hate. And we are here in Tübingen in Germany, and we're connected with people worldwide who have been doing or who are doing actually events on this special March of Life Global Day of Action. And here we have, maybe you can show the Zoom panel again. And here we have Ruth Karanchi's March of Life representative in Paraguay in Asunción. Ruth, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, wonderful. We can hear you and we can see you. You're at this event and you're doing something very, very special. So tell us a little bit about what's happening in Asunción in Paraguay, Ruth.
Yes, we are having a convoy of cars and minivans from all through Nuremberg, which is a city outside of Asunción. I'm here with the mayor and with the pastors who have joined us, who have helped us to make this happen. And we are just entering the Cerro Nuremberg, which is a hill outside. I will just turn the photo up for a moment so you can see this is the place where we will have a meeting in a moment with the declaration. We had a wonderful autocorso. We are very happy. All the people joining us, all the support that we have right here.
Oh, that's so wonderful to see you there. And don't show me, please show what's happening in Paraguay. So it's so wonderful to see you there and to see you live on the street with this car parade. And we see the mayor of the district of Asunción there and pastors and representatives from the Jewish community who have joined you. So it's so wonderful. So Ruth, why is it important to make this statement for Israel and against anti-Semitism specifically in Paraguay?
Because anti-Semitism is something that is real. It's real in our churches. It's real in the society. There have also been manifestations which have not been anti-Semitic, but with a lot of violence here in the last month during all the time of Corona. So we really want to make a stand for Israel, helping people also to understand how important it is to really stretch our hand to our Jewish friends. And some of them are here, donors here for car also. And it's the first time happening here in the city of Nuremberg. So we are very glad, and it's so important to make a public stand here in this place and in this country.
Thank you so much, Ruth.
Hello, Ruth. It's so good to see you. And please give our very best regards to all of our friends there. It's so amazing to see what you're doing, what you're moving, having the cars there, pastors, mayor. And we are so proud of you. And please give our very best regards to everyone, because so many are watching from all over the world. They are looking towards Paraguay, a nation where Nazis used to hide. They did their evil things there, coming from Germany, and now a different statement. And you are raising your voices together with the mayor, the pastors, Jewish life, and that's amazing. So please give our very best regards to everyone. And we are so happy and grateful to see that.
Wonderful. Goodbye, Ruth. See you soon. So now we... Bye-bye. Now we go back to our panel, and I want to talk now to Ruben Gutknecht. And Ruben is the Latin American director of March of Life, and not only in Paraguay, but in many other nations in Latin America. There have been events happening today and are still happening. Ruben, can you give us a little bit of an overview where things are happening in Latin America?
Yes, of course. Hello, it's so good to be together with you. We are having events and had events in 7 countries and around 20 cities here in Latin America. This is in Argentina, in Bolivia, in Peru, in Paraguay, in the Dominican Republic, in Colombia. In several countries, there have been several marches in different places, or what you can call marches. In many of our countries, we have a high death rate because of Corona. We have a lot of infection. So it's really all over the place. Mostly it's forbidden to reunion with people. For example, here in Peru, we are not allowed to go out on the streets on Sundays. We got a special permit to meet with some of the children of our house of transformation, like we call it. So we could do something here, but in other countries they could meet with a small amount of people. But all over the place, people were coming together to stand with Israel and to raise a voice against anti-Semitism and against hate and all kinds of racism.
Ruben, is anti-Semitism,
especially during the pandemic, is it a great problem on the streets, in the churches? Can you be more specific about that?
Yes, it's a real problem here in Latin America. The church is really not in a good shape because people tend to believe all those conspiracy stuff. And it's really happening all over the place that you hear that the Jews are behind that the Jewish people are behind the COVID crisis. And people start to believe that because it's going to be preached through the internet and from the pulpits to wherever that's possible. So it's really important to stand up. I think that's a special situation here in Latin America. I don't know why, but the anti-Semitism is on a rise.
And what's
the understanding of Israel? Can you say 2 or 3 things about that? In the churches, are there more and more people who actually stand with Israel to raise their voice? Or is it very hard to mobilize them?
It's different. There's a rise in people that stand together with Israel, but most of the pastors and most of the leaders, they are so worried about how to go on with their churches and how to go on with their life. They're just not interested in anything else that happens around their small world. That's really, really bad and really sad. We had a lot more people in the marches than the years before, but this time it was close to impossible to really get other pastors involved. We did that in some countries, but in some it was really closed.
And
one more thing about the children, those kids who love Israel, who dance together. Can you say 2 or 3 things about that? I think we've got some pictures here.
That is awesome. Our children, they were fighting to get their masks. They were waiting to get their masks today to be able to use them. They love Israel. For them, celebrating Shabbat is the most important event of the whole week. So they are really anxious to get there, and they love Israel with all their heart, and they do the dances, and they do it really happily. So that's really special. But I believe that has to do with it, that they started to see and to learn that God loves Israel, and this is why they love Israel too.
Und das muss man mal hören. Das sind eben
Kinderhäuser. You really have to hear that. These are houses for children where children taken from the street are taken care of, and now they love Israel, they dance for Israel and stand with Israel. So that's an amazing thing.
It's so amazing to hear of all these events, and also thank you so much, Ruben, for everything that you're facilitating in Latin America tirelessly, even in these very difficult times in Peru, where we know that's one of the nations that's most hardly stricken by COVID-19. And it's especially wonderful that you are still raising your voice and standing up for reconciliation and not hate. Thank you so much, Ruben. And so we're almost coming to our end of our live broadcast now. We're still working on Burundi to get some live feed from there. I don't know if it's going to work. Otherwise, we will definitely publish material and pictures from there. But we will again talk to Igal Evan-Ziv in a minute and hear from him, and he will give us a special blessing from Israel. But before we do, we want to look ahead, because the March of Life is going to go on. We're not going to stop even in Corona times. We're going to go on with the message. And Jobst, what are the next events that will happen here with March of Life?
Naja, also der Marsch des Lebens hat
was
sehr, sehr konkret auch mit unserer Vergangenheit
is very closely connected to our personal past that we keep sharing about. It's to do with working through the personal stories of Nazi perpetrators and their descendants. And this is something we are spreading all over the German-speaking countries. We are going to have a seminar, an online conference, working through the family past, Veil of Silence 2.0, and for all German-speaking viewers, register. We will help you to research your own family story and to take a look at the truth. And we believe this is going to be very, very important. And we hope that in February we'll be able to have a March of Life conference. This year we were able to have it. It was one of the highlights of the year. All the March of Life directors have joined us. Those who are joining us worldwide, people are coming from South America, North America, and that's the March of Life Conference 2021 with inputs from the 12th to the 14th of February 2021. Take a note of the date, and let's all hope that we will be able to have that even in times of the COVID-19 pandemic. That will be taking place here in Tübingen, and then we also hope that next year we will be able to have real marches of life worldwide, and we are calling you even now, around the time of Yom HaShoah, make plans to have it, and the coming year, Yom HaShoah will be in early April, so in the 1 or 2 weeks prior or after that date, or even on that date in April, the 9th of April, we want to encourage you, have marches of life.
And it would be wonderful if you could join us for that. So I'm switching back to English. So come and join us for the March of Life and do a March of Life yourself in your city. Maybe you've done an event for the first time this year and you realize it's possible. Yes, it is possible to go public. Yes, it is possible to march on the streets with many or with few people. It's not important. Important is that it's a strong voice and it's visible and it's audible. So so we encourage you for that. And then another thing we plan, and we don't know yet how it's going to happen, but we will have the March of the Nations next year again in Israel. So please put that on your calendars. It's from May 10th to May 15th. That's the time frame we plan to do it. We are still talking to the cities in Israel, and they're anxiously waiting for us to come in Haifa, in Pardes Hana, in Jerusalem, and many other places. So please put that on your calendar. We are working on it to make it possible as soon as the borders are open and the whole pandemic will allow it. We will do this. So please mark this, and we'll be publishing details about this very, very soon. And another thing, if you want to stay up to date with Job Bittner and everything he does, all the messages he sends out, he has his own website, so you can go to jobsbittner.com, and he has sermons, spiritual impulses, weekly updates and travel blogs. You can follow him there, and I encourage you to do that. It's always a very encouraging, powerful input, inspiring input. So go to jobsbittner.com. You'll find all the podcasts and YouTube channels and Facebook channels that are there. So that's wonderful.
I'm just seeing Richard has just joined us from Geneva. And I don't know whether you can hear me, but of course we don't want to miss what you have to share. It's amazing. Richard, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Wow, that's so amazing. I am so happy it worked out for you. And Richard, can you share, what did you do in Geneva?
We have a gathering of about 50 people just in front of the Palais Wilson. The Palais Wilson is the place where the Society of Nations signed the mandate of Palestine in the early year of the foundation of Israel. And we had the opportunity to take position and to make the Magen David just in front of the Palais Wilson. And we have three speakers. We had three speakers, me and a politician man, and also a pastor of Geneva. And we have a gathering for 1 hour. And it was very special because the weather. When I came early at 2 o'clock, we had a lot of wind, a kind of storm, and I pray to the Lord, if you are with us, please calm down all this weather. And just a few minutes after, all the lake was totally flat, and we had the sun and no rain, and it was just incredible. And we have a very good time this afternoon.
Thank you, Richard. It's so good to hear also from Geneva and that you've been doing this special event at a strategic place just across the Palais Wilson and this historic place. And so it's wonderful. And many other places in Switzerland, like 4 other places in Zurich, in Schaffhausen, in Davos, and other places, they have also been doing these Day of Action events and lifting their voice. Thank you so much, Richard. So now I want to go to Israel. We're almost at the end of our broadcast now, and here we have Igal Evan-Ziv. And Igal, like from your perspective, why is it important for Israel that these events happen worldwide?
For us, because we are feel lonely in this time, in the Corona time.
יגאל, תתקרב למיקרופון, לא שומעים אותך.
My heart for the Israeli people, what you do in all the world. But I want to remember you, what is the dream? The dream for me, also for you, it's million people marching. It's for all the world. We can do it together. In Israel, in the March of the Nation, and also all the world, your activities in March of the Nation.
Thank you, Igal. So we continue this, and Igal. So this was something that's important for you. Jobs, you wanted to ask something?
Ja, absolut. Egal. Niemand lebt diesen Traum so stark.
Nobody is living the stream as strongly as you do in Israel. And we are so grateful to be standing with you. We are looking to Israel, we're praying for Israel. But what we can do is that we keep spreading this dream. So worldwide, all over the world, people would take to the streets in every city. And the fact that people are willing to do that is actually marked by the fact that they're willing to really go out even at the time of COVID-19. So we are just waiting for the day when the borders shall open up, because we love you and we are really connected to you. So Igal, once again, we have the March of Life House in Caesarea where Holocaust survivors can come. They're invited to stay. Could you say 2 or 3 things about the situation of Holocaust survivors, especially now at the time of COVID-19 in Israel? Because I believe they are the ones who suffer the most, right?
Many of the survivors is lonely in the house. And nobody can see him. The family cannot come also because the situation is very bad for them. And I hope the coronavirus go out. We can open the house in Syria and we do. Leslie, maybe Petra can also open the house, do what we do in several years before the corona comes.
Yes, thank you, Igal. We hope that we'll be able to continue the work. We are continuing the work like on a virtual level, communicating with Holocaust survivors, doing virtual events with them, but it's of course much better and warming to meet them in person, and we hope that we'll be able to do that very soon again. So Igal, in closing, you wanted to bless us specifically from Israel. Maybe you can say a few words about it, and then I invite you to speak the Aaronic blessing from Israel.
What holiday is one of the 3 holidays in Israel that the Kohanim coming from the temple and blessing all the people. And now it's Sukkot. I know I'm in Pardes Chana, not near the hotel and the temple, but I want to bless all of you in the Kohanim bless. Because you know I'm Kohen, I have permission from the God to do it.
Okay, wonderful. So you go for it.
וידבר אדוני אל משה משה, ואמור, דבר אל אהרון ואל בניו. כה תברכו את בני ישראל, אמור להם. יברכך אדוני וישמרך. יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונך. שא אדוני פניו אליך וישים לך שלום. ושמו את שמי על בני ישראל ואני יברכם. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, Igal.
Thank you so much. Vielen Dank, Igal.
Thank you so much, Igal.
So, wir sind von Herzen mit
We
euch
are
verbunden.
connected with you from the bottom of our hearts.
Wir verlangen und wünschen
And we are
uns, dass die
desiring
Grenzen
and
bald
wishing
wieder
for
vor
those
euch
borders to
wieder
open up again soon so we can hug you and embrace you ourselves.
Absolut, das hoffen wir.
Yeah,
Euch
this
bald
is
zu
what
sehen.
we
Komm,
really
zeig
hope
nochmal
to
das
see you
Zoom-Panel
again
hier mit
soon.
allen unseren
Show us the
Freunden
Zoom
hier.
panel with all our friends. There's Igal and all of our other friends.
Wunderbar, euch zu
It's
sehen
so
hier in den
wonderful to
verschiedenen
see you in
Nationen.
the different nations.
Und zum Abschluss
And
wollen
in
wir
closing,
hier noch Hatikva.
let's hear the Hatikva,
Die israelische Nationalhymne.
the
Aber wir
Israeli
wollen
national anthem.
we want to do it with a very special version here. And it's the Hatikva that we recorded 5 years ago or 4 years ago. And it's sung by descendants of Nazi perpetrators. It's a very special version. And we have, many people have seen and have been touched by it, but I think it's just an appropriate way to close this wonderful day with this version of Hatikva.
קולות בלבב פנימה נפש יהודי הומיה
ולפתי מזרח קדימה עין לציון צופיה
Israel, Volk Gottes, erwählt und doch verstoßen. Die ganze Welt hasst dich und das ist noch der Lohn, denn du hast alles Leid gesehen. Und der Neid der vielen kostete Millionen von Seelen. Der einst Geliebten, doch schäme dich nicht deiner Schönheit, denn du sollst leben. Einer nahm das Land von den Feinden und hat es dir gegeben. Trotz Genozid und Holocaust bist du auferstanden von toten Gebeinen, hochgeholt und verwandelt. Jetzt bist du wieder an deinem rechten Platz als Licht in dieser durchkämpften Nacht. Wieder ist es finster in der Welt, doch solange du atmest, scheint dein Licht, das uns erhält. Ja, du bist wahrhaftig die Hoffnung der Nationen und für das, was du hast, wird dich jedes Land noch loben. Segen auf Israel und Frieden für die Nachbarn. Er hat dich auserwählt, mit ihm ist alles machbar.
Solange die kostbare Mauer vor dem Auge erscheint und über die Zerstörung des Tempels sein Jude Tränen weint, solange das Wasser in Fülle im Jordan fließt und du der Erinnerung gedenkst und nach vorne siehst, solange eine jüdische Seele in deinem Herzen wohnt, Augen nach Zion gerichtet, das auf dem Berge thront, solang gibt es Hoffnung seit 2000 Jahren, ein freies Volk in seinem Land, Zion, Jerusalem. Kehre heim, Israel, weil du dann Frieden hast. Dein Arzt wohnt in Jerusalem und Balsam ist in Gilead. Dein Arzt ist Gott, er ist Heilung und die Antwort. Der Gott von Abraham, Isaak und Jakob. Geliebtes Israel, vertraue ganz auf ihn. Er schlägt die Feinde in die Flucht und gibt dann den Sieg. Der Bund mit seinem Volk besteht immer vor Gott und er hält sein Wort in Ewigkeit und so lang gibt es Hoffnung.
Lord. Yerushalayim,
Beide Seiten meiner Familie waren überzeugte Nationalsozialisten. Mein einer Urgroßvater.
Wow, Katikwa. And we're almost at the end of our broadcast now, and we've had over 70 events in over 70 places today in 24 nations, in 5 continents, and we've got so much wonderful material from everywhere. And there's one thing we want to show you before we go, and that's something from Puttur in India, and we just want to give you a small glimpse. They had a real party there for Israel, and we just want to show you a brief video of that before we say goodbye. So that's something we didn't want to let you not see. So.
Like David, everyone together. I will praise. I will praise. I will praise. I will praise like David praised. Spirit of the Lord goes upon my heart.
So that's in Puttur in India, and I love that. They're really celebrating Sukkot there. Wonderful thing. So Jobst.
Well, so wonderful. I think there are many, many more pictures. We will show you every now and then, the more we get them. But this is the end of this event, but it's only the beginning of the job that's still ahead of us. It was so great to have you with us. Thank you once again to all organizers and everyone who made this possible, whether it's with many of you, but just even the fact you go there counts, and making a statement, that is so amazing and cool. And it means so much, and it touches so many hearts. So a big, big hug and thank you to all of you. So we want to bring this official event to a close, but you can freely advertise this event, send the link to your friends, and it would be great to hear back from your events. There'll be more pictures on the website and greetings, so we remain connected. Thank you so much to all who have joined us on the Zoom panel. Thank you so much to Israel especially, and thank you to Igal and Nama, and also to Paraguay, Mike and Lynn, also to Berlin. Who else is there? Finland, thank you so much. And then Richard in Geneva, Ruben, big, big hug to all of you. We are so happy to hear from you, and we are on the road together, and it's only the beginning of what's yet to come.
Wir werden nicht aufhören, unsere
We will
Stimme zu
not
erheben.
stop raising our voices, and we'll not stop taking to the streets. So we'll see you again soon. The March of Life conference, the very latest, hopefully in Tübingen, maybe online. But have a wonderful evening. Celebrate Sukkot. Chag Sukkot Sameach. See you again soon. Take care.
Bye-bye. Love you so much.